What's up, everybody? Welcome to I don't know what day it is, but it's House Divided here on Orange Bloods Live. I'm Jeff Ketchum, celebrating Liverpool just being Liverpool, joined by Chad Hastings, who's not celebrating the Dallas Mavericks for anything that the Dallas Mavericks might be doing. It's just been that kind of month for both of us. Like, comment, subscribe to the page. Do whatever you want to do, ultimately, but we do like it when you join the Specs chat. We love super chats, and we just like it when you get interactive. And by the way, we're in the middle right now on Orange Bloods Live of getting your feedback. So do us a solid. We've got a link. Do we have like a QR code or something that we can pop up that it will take people to the survey, Chad? Yes. Take the survey for us. It takes like 8 to 10 minutes. Quite honestly, if you're like, I don't want to fill it all out, fill out the parts that are most important. If you don't like this show, but you like Football with Friends, all of the feedback that you can give us on all of our shows, greatly helpful. And we did it with Orange Bloods, the website. We're doing it now with the channel. Help us out. Scan that QR code. You can go to our Twitter page. We've got the links out everywhere. But yeah, we're just trying to streamline, make things better. Thinking about growing and want to make sure that we're tapping in to the pulse that you, our viewers and subscribers, want us to take. So yeah, if you get a chance, fill that bad boy out. It won't take long. Hey, if you're ever pissed at Chad, there are places in that survey you can tell him to just fuck right off if you want to.
I told you to take the pissed at Chad section out. I know you're the boss and everything, but my suggestion was to take that section out.
No, I had to put it in, Chad, because it's the only thing that'll make me smile. Because trust me, I tell you what, I have not yet looked.
Okay, wait a minute. Yeah, before you look, hold on. Before you look, speaking of making people smile, I want to let everybody know that this dude right here that I point at every day is the beginning of a creative process that I think produced genius today. It was Jeff Ketchum who thought up the I Dream of Genie bit for the thumbnail today. It was the incredible graphics staff, Tyler and Jalen and the crew, that figured out how to make it real. And Ketch apparently hasn't seen Sark with Larry Hackman's hair yet.
I have not.
All right, look and we'll get your live reaction. Go right now.
Well, where am I looking?
Well, look, what do you mean? I don't have the image to put up for you. You got to go to the page. I thought you had the page pulled up, ready to go.
No, I was doing something else.
Oh, well, then it would take me a couple minutes to help you then. I don't have that image right
now I'm working. Okay. It's
yeah, there it is. Woo! Jeff Ketchum came up with this imagery. We're talking about what's your one wish. And at first he said Genie from Aladdin. I thought Genie from Aladdin, that's a great reference. That's what we should go with. Then at the end of the conversation, I said, just checking. Genie from Aladdin, is that good? And he says, what about I Dream of Genie? And I went, oh, that's it. So we went, for you old school folks like us, we went back to Barbara Eden and Larry Hackman.
The majority of our viewers have no idea who that woman is.
That's okay, because you get to see her. She's beautiful.
We're not getting to see the best parts of her.
Hey, you know what? The Genie outfit for its time was high-level softcore porn. And Larry Hackman got to show off his comedy chops, and it's a fantastic reference. I love Sark with the hair, and it will set us up today, Ketch. Since you came up with the creative, I will also let you lay the idea out for Texas fans, because I think it is kind of a cool thought process for this 25 season.
Well, I wanted us to do something fun today, ultimately, and keep the conversation centered around this upcoming football season. And it just occurred to me that if I talk to 10 different people, I'll get 10 different answers with regards to what the fan base thinks, really from a personnel standpoint, this team needs more than anything else. So here's the game. You got a Genie. You get one wish. You don't get to wish for additional wishes. That's not how we're playing this game. You get one. You get to make one personnel tweak, addition. You don't get to wish for everybody to stay healthy. You don't get to wish for Texas to win all of the games. You don't get to wish to jinx anybody. What you get to wish for today is one personnel piece addition that you think this team needs, that you think could potentially elevate the program up a notch with an improved left tackle or improved wide receiver or a badass running back. Or there's a lot of them. We know that this is a team that when we go into the spring has some needs that they're going to want to fill. So you opened up the Genie bottle. The Genie popped out. They said you get one personnel wish for 2025. What's your wish? And I'm curious to see in which directions people go in. Chad said it earlier. You mean somebody could wish for Jeremiah Smith if they wanted to? And it was like, yeah, I mean.
Yeah, could it be a specific person? And we're talking player personnel here, right? Somebody can't.
And look, I'm not going to tell you that Jeremiah Smith can't be your Genie pick. But the more realistic, the better.
Okay, wait. Can they do this? Is this allowed? Earl in his prime?
No.
Earl,
as we're establishing the ground rules.
Arch can turn in hand to Earl. That sounds like a good idea. No? Okay, sorry. You can't. Mr. Irrelevant, I'm sorry.
No one is allowed to fucking draft Troy. It's like, I want Achilles. No, you don't get to draft like the great warriors of all time and then put pads on them. No,
okay,
keep this realistic.
Current football. Keep it real. Let's not get silly. All right.
It's enough that we've got a Genie.
We made a thumbnail where Steve Sarkisian is on Larry Hagman's body. Okay. If you can't tell this is a serious show, I don't know what else we can do for you. Oscar's a simple man. Oscar just needs a field goal kicker, apparently.
Oscar's the first one to do this thing legitimately.
Oscar says, yeah, field goal.
And look, what I would allow Oscar to do, Oscar, if you want to dive through some stats on ESPN.com or something, and you want to find the kicker that you want the Genie to put into the portal, you're allowed to do that.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. There's a lot of good stuff coming in.
God, now we got our first super chat, and we got another person trying to change the rules.
Okay, hold on. Super chat tries to change the rules. Here we go. Brady says 199, fire Rodney Terry, football team is fine. No, Brady, that's not how this works. This is a football discussion. And okay,
Brady, do you know what that is?
See, earlier, Christopher, so you could fix the men's basketball, anything else? No.
Guys.
No.
Why are you wasting your Genie wish on something that doesn't need a wish from a Genie to fix?
Right. And then, okay, Mark.
AKA Rodney Terry, that dude ain't going to be here in a month. Stop using your wishes on him.
Mark, let's get the blinders on. Longhorn football. It's a Texas football discussion. All right. The Genie can't do all things. This is a Genie with specific power to do one thing.
Chad, if this is the way the game is going to be played.
Oh my God.
Dear Genie, can you go back and make sure that Man City gets punished correctly for all of its cheating so that we can win the championships at Liverpool that we should have won? Had those cheating rat bastards from Manchester not been breaking the rules? Amen, Genie.
That's it.
Do you say amen to the Genie? What do you do? Well, how do you sign off to the Genie?
You just, I wish for, and you finish it, and that's it.
Abracadabra? No.
It's just I wish for blank. Once you're done with that phrase, it's on.
Got it. All right, well, mine's in. If this is what we're doing,
okay. Got to be careful.
Genie, I wish Luka hadn't been traded.
Now, that's easily my wish if we could do anything. Tej says, I wish for a red zone offensive coordinator. Tej, maybe you kind of got one in Chad Scott, but I know what you're saying. A lot of Longhorn fans are thinking along the red zone lines. Catch, I'll be boring. First thing that popped in my head was something like this. Money B says experienced center. I thought of the interior offensive line. If you love your tackles, maybe not love, if you think your tackles will develop and be okay, do you go after some stud in the middle, center or guard, that can just be a eyes bug out of your head badass and protect Arch right up the middle?
Oh, Money B, I'll come back to you.
Okay.
$20 super chat. That's the way the show works.
Like it.
I get the sense that Zoe doesn't care about our topic. OU has a brutal schedule. I'd never root Zoe. What you wrote was I'd never route. ROOT. Don't worry, I do stuff like that all the time. But if Chad were reading this,
I wouldn't have even pointed that out. I'd have been nice.
No, I have trained Chad to be literal.
Yeah, trust me. I got ripped on enough. I'd have had to stop, Zoe.
Zoe, he would have had to work. It would have been my fault.
Mm-hmm.
But if they had a head coaching vacancy at the end of the year, who would be a primary candidate? Who are the best and worst cases for Texas? Zoe, I think the move yesterday to hire Jim Nagy was an amazing hire. I think he's now the number one in that Oklahoma program. And I look at that hire as the first hire of a post-Brent Venables era. He's a better hire than Venables is as a head coach hire. When Venables gets fired, Nagy will still be in the general manager position. They will still have all of the scouting infrastructure and everything that he'll have into place. The new coach will be able to come in and reap those rewards. I think it is the smartest thing that Oklahoma football has done in a while. Who are the best and worst cases for Texas? Well, best case is Oklahoma keeps doing that thing where they hire unproven coordinators. They think that's a guarantee on the box because they hit it a couple of times. Venables is proof that, you know what, that process kind of flawed just in general. What you want Texas, if you're Texas, what you'd like for them to do, just keep on repeating the same old process that led you to Brent Venables. What you don't want them to do is go, hiring this unproven thing's kind of for the birds. What if we just go hire an A-plus coach? That's the worst case scenario.
In terms of primary candidate, Catch, Heupel? Is Heupel still kind of in your thought process for them?
Yeah, but if I'm Heupel, I'm not taking that job.
Right. That's a different discussion. But if you're Oklahoma.
The thing that Oklahoma has put themselves into is that if you're at a really, like, Heupel's a good example. He's built that Tennessee program to the cusp of competing for maybe a national championship's a bit much.
Mm-hmm.
But he's got that program competing to be on the cusp of a national semifinalist. And then, you're like Texas at that point. When you take that baby step, because think about what Tennessee was, right? They were a quarterfinalist. They played Ohio State. They got their ass beat. And they found out, like, okay, that's where we are. But that where there are really good. They were a top 18. They were a quarterfinalist type outfit. I think that what you probably want to see at that point, if you're Heupel, is if my next move, am I starting all over? Am I on the verge of competing for a championship? At the next job, what are we saying about it? And if what we're saying about it is you're years away from being at that level, I don't know that in 2025 coaches are looking to take 2 or 3 steps back for the opportunity to build the damn thing that's already built where they're currently located. So I wonder if it means you go to the NFL. It's going to be harder and harder in 2025, I think, to poach coaches, successful head coaches who are already knocking on the door. The great thing about the playoff is, think about what happened to Brian Kelly. He left Notre Dame for LSU. Why? Because he thought that was the best path for him to compete for a national championship. Had he known in 2025, or had he known in like 2020 what he knows in 2025, he never leaves Notre Dame. They've got a 12-team playoff. He's good. He's good. He's just got to get in. And it's probably easier to get in at Notre Dame as an at-large than it is to get in as an SEC school where it's just a bloodletting every 7 days.
Yeah, well, and that's worlds of difference. And the other thing, to Zoe's point, it used to be, Catch, that if you went from somewhere in the SEC to Oklahoma, your path got easier. Yeah. And I always argue why Oklahoma would never want into the SEC. Easy path. The easier path. Why would you make your path to a national title that much harder in a 2 or 4 team version? Obviously, now the world is different, but that's the other part of whether it's Heupel or whoever you talk about. It's like, man, Oklahoma they're just trying to fight to prove that they're kind of relevant in this SEC. That first run through the SEC, their only relevance ended up being winning a game against Alabama that no one thought was possible, and kind of giving the Aggies like that much hope at Atlanta. That's what Oklahoma did last year. That's it.
Okay. Zoe literally disrupted the show.
He did.
Back on topic.
$20 will do that. Thank you, Zoe. If you have another $20 and you want to talk about, my favorite picnic of all time, come on.
I do have a favorite picnic.
I don't know that I do, but I'll think about it for $20.
I was hanging out with this girl named Ariel. We were picnicking, and she wears these red boots that her preacher father hates.
Whoa.
And we did a picnic, and then we got busy. And then she put on her red. Oh, wait, that's from the movie Footloose. Never mind. No, I don't have a favorite picnic.
Damn. So close. So close. That was,
for a second, I thought that day with Ariel was me, but no, that was Chuck.
Yeah, by the way, the Catch, are you a good news or bad news type of guy? When there's both, what do you want first?
I don't care.
Don't care. I just want you to know that the people are noticing. The people are noticing over and over again. Bradley says, Catch, looking slim. McCallum weight. The folks are noticing that you're dropping some LBs.
Technically, not yet McCallum weight.
Is that your goal? Do you have a goal in mind? And how close is that to McCallum weight?
No, because I played it. I'm like 255 today.
Okay.
And I played at 248. So that would be McCallum weight.
Gotcha. Okay.
I got above 250 when there was no more McCallum weight to play at.
So you're saying you're already below McCallum weight?
No, I'm above it.
Oh, I thought you said you just played at 258.
No, I played at 248.
248. My bad. I'm sorry. I misheard you.
And I'm 255.
Gotcha. Okay. Almost there. Almost.
But, I'm trying to.
So do us
I don't know, man. I'm just trying to get healthy. So, whatever that is.
Do us a favor. If there's ever a day where you happen to see a scale before the show and you see 248 or south of that, I want you to just, before you do anything else, just scream out, McCallum, wait! And then we'll all know. No?
Well, no. Yeah, you okay. I don't even know that voice inflection.
I was kind of going for the hump day. It was sort of a hump day comp. Instead of hump day, it's McCallum, wait! That's sort of what I was going for.
You could have successfully achieved the thing that you were going for before you went. That's the kind of thing that how do you think your daughter would have reacted to that? The longest eye roll in the history of eye rolls.
and then there would have been like a bruh and an old man, and there'd have been a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah, like I'm thinking Camilla dropping. That's the first time in a while where, you know what we need? We got to get Camilla's old man and make it a drop.
Old man. You're right. Yeah.
Every time one of us does it, the other one can cue up old man.
Old man. Yeah, we will definitely have to do that. Zoe did jump back in with two more. Root, and thanks for letting me disrupt the party. No problem, Zoe. No problem. We appreciate it.
Hey,
yeah,
so we like money. So we just knew we were eventually going to go back to what we were doing. Can I tell you that, look, if I had the Genie chat to me, I'm ranking my Genie needs like this. If you can give me a bad Mama Jamma, no doubt about it, 6'7", 350 starting right tackle. Or I'll even take somebody who's smaller, that if Brandon Baker just runs away, like, I want to tackle because I want to be able to put Gooseby and a tackle together, and I want to say best pair of bookends in the SEC. How am I protecting Arch Manning? Well, ain't nobody getting him outside the tackles. If Brandon Baker, though, finds a light switch in year 2, I don't want to take this big tackle and then mitigate one of the better players. So I'm okay with a tackle that has guard versatility. But I want to start an offensive lineman. I want to improve the offensive line. I want to do it from the outside and move in if possible. And again, I am completely okay with the idea that former 5-star Brandon Baker finds a light switch and you don't want to do anything to impede, a guy that you're heavily invested in. I mean, that guy, by the time this season starts, I'm pretty sure Brandon Baker's going to be on that Jonte Cook's 1.5 million-ish coins in his pocket before he ever really makes a dent as a player. So, yeah, man, you want that investment to get paid off. But I just want that offensive line better in general. If I was going to go with a number 2, hey, man, if you could give me Matthew Golden all over again or Isaiah Bond all over again at wide receiver. I know people are excited about DeAndre Moore and Ryan Wingo, and you got the young freshman. With all due respect to all the receivers that are on campus right now, ain't none of those dudes within a freaking 1,000-foot pole of Matthew Golden or Isaiah Bond when they were at their best this season. I mean, let's don't play the pretend game where we pretend that Ryan Wingo and Isaiah Bond were the exact same things. They're not. They weren't. They aren't. And Matthew Golden was about to go in the first round of the NFL draft. So, yeah, forgive me if I want Arch Manning. I'm okay with the idea that if the Joker catches a Texas football game next year, he wonders where Arch gets all of those wonderful toys. Ironically, I got no need to really use any of my Genie wishes on defense. That's
I didn't think of that
how comfortable I am, Chad, with the notion of, you know what? They can get another defensive tackle, fantastic. How they get a starting corner, fantastic. But I think we need to be using our Genie wishes on O.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's where my thought process was. Cotton threw in, I want a 6-foot nose tackle, weighs 375, runs a 4.5, benches 7, squats 1,000, 48-inch vert. Not too much to ask. Cotton is asking for something that a machine, I think, would have to make.
No, I know who he just described.
Who's that?
The numbers don't completely add up. He's describing former North Texas nose tackle Booger Kennedy from about 22 years ago.
Wow. There's a blast from the past. Yeah.
6-foot nose tackle.
Yeah.
Who nobody can block.
What was Jerry Ball at SMU? What was he looking at? Was he about that size?
I was going to say, well, Yeah, he's about that size.
Kind of in that area. Yeah, that was one of those dudes you couldn't miss. You couldn't miss him on the camera shot there. By the way, Chris Bennett, that's just a great callback. Well done. Did your favorite picnic involve watermelons? That's just well done. It's good quality work. We don't have time to go through all of why the layers, but that's well done. Well played, sir. Well played. Also, to Coolhorn Luke, your quarterback, Sydney Sweeney said, yeah, okay, fair enough. There you go. Sydney Sweeney fan jumping in the show today. So there you go. Catch at some point during the show. I will let you choose when. Have you seen the major death in Hollywood today?
Yeah, man.
Okay, so let's just throw it out to the people because Chris Bennett also threw us earlier. RIP to Gene Hackman. First off, the good news. Gene Hackman got to 95 years old. I didn't realize Gene Hackman was that old. I knew he was old. 95? We've just had this incredible group of badass entertainers that find their way into their 90s. I love that. The bad news, Gene Hackman, his wife, apparently, and the dog were all found.
One of the dogs.
And one of the dogs were all found dead in their New Mexico home when they did a welfare check. They don't suspect any kind of foul play, but
no, that's changed.
I'm assuming details are going to get a little weird. So I almost don't want to know what it is, but rest in peace to Gene Hackman is the.
Do you want to know what I've read at the latest I've read?
Sure.
That they're at least considering that something could have happened because it doesn't look like there's a gas leak. So
that was my first thought in terms of if it's going to be just something, like it would be that. It would be carbon monoxide or something like that.
It would make sense.
Otherwise, yeah.
When they showed up, there were two other dogs that were around the bodies that were alive.
Yeah.
And the front door was open.
Okay.
And unlocked in, based on what I read, unlocked in a jar or at least unlocked, but like there's enough potential sketchiness to the circumstances that they're now not exactly calling it natural causes.
Yeah, that just feels like it's going to be real difficult to describe it that way. So rest in peace to Gene Hackman. That was crazy news out of the world of Hollywood today. I
think his wife was a classical pianist. Like, awful to lose someone at that. I think she was 63. So much life still to go and so much talent. It just, I think there's a part of us that, what makes that story really sad? Now, look, God, let's hope that it was natural causes or something that was peaceful and like, Gene Hackman made it to 93.
Yeah, I saw 95. I mean, maybe, yeah.
He made it to his 90s.
90. No, he just turned 95 because it's 1930 is what I'm seeing as his birthday.
So he makes it to 95. At the date of his death, he's married to a woman who's 30 years is young, like,
yeah.
You've seen her young. He was married to a younger woman. You make it to 95 and you've lived 95 Gene Hackman years? Like, we should all be so lucky. I hope the end was peaceful and there's just nothing crazy to this. But like, I'm full on, let's just celebrate Gene Hackman. 95 years old's one hell of a life.
Yeah, or at least celebrate until we find out what happened and then it turns into one of those weird Hollywood stories.
Why can't we just celebrate him?
Yeah, we can do that too.
Unless Gene did some sketchy shit.
Yeah, we can do that too. Also, thank you to the chatter.
Anymore.
Thank you to the chatter earlier who chatted at us, RIP Lex Luthor. A, because that is one of the great roles Gene Hackman played. And B, I misread it, and it did make me check in on a wrestling legend, who's fine, by the way. So thank you for that on both sides. For a second, I thought, wait a minute, multiple people. No, we're good. And for those of you accusing me of killing Gene Hackman, that's a how dare you. Gene Hackman does not fit the profile of the famous people I've been accused of killing. All right? He's into his 90s. He's 95, and I love him. That's not the kind of person I was accused of killing in the radio days. Just so you know. Just so you understand. How dare you?
Full transparency.
Full disclosure. All right. Let's give some thanks to our great sponsors, including the one you see all the time, Texas Card House. How about a little online poker, kids? In the great state of Texas, wherever you are, from El Paso to Dallas to San Antonio to Austin to deep East Texas and all over the great state, you can hit that online poker at hijackpoker.com. Get the app, put it on any device you want, and remember, you can cash in, you can deposit and cash out at any of the 6 Texas Card House locations. Shout out to TCH, as Ketch told us yesterday, a couple things cooking to maybe get back out to TCH Social Austin for maybe a little basketball tournament, maybe some other things. So keep
it's about to be going down.
Keep your ears peeled for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. All right. So again, Longhorn fans, it's real simple. If you want your wish, your Genie wish for your Texas football team, you get one. You just get one. What do you want? Also, I feel like we may get some Gene Hackman love today, and second best Hackman line, Miss Tessmacher. If that's true, what's the first? Something from Hoosiers? What are you going with? If Miss Tessmacher is number 2, I dug Miss Tessmacher when I was a kid. That combo, whoo! Lex's.
I've got like probably 10 favorite Gene Hackman quotes.
Mm-hmm.
One of them comes from Hoosiers. When he just says, "I love you guys."
Oh yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter whether I'm in a group of people or not. Like, I will just occasionally, it could even be my dogs. It could be Liverpool. Like, every once in a while, I'll just quote that movie and go, "I love you guys."
He's great. He is so great in that movie. I'm a big fan of just like the measurement scene. I'm a big fan of that. Like that to calm the team down and the thing, and just everything he delivers in that movie is so perfect. There's a lot of good Gene Hackman performances, but
can I give you another one?
It's a tough one. Sure.
I don't deserve this, to die like this.
Oh yeah.
I was building a house.
What is it? The response is deserves ain't got nothing to do with it.
And then
boom!
Eastwood, as cold-blooded as any moment in Clint Eastwood's entire career goes, deserves got nothing to do with it.
Boom!
Yes. Boom!
Boom. I saw a great Gene Hackman the other day, one of the more comedic roles, but Gene Hackman as one of the rich guys that they're trying to scam in America's Sweethearts with Sigourney Weaver and JLH. He's really good in that movie. He really helps to bring home what they're trying to do in that movie.
Can I give you 2 sleeper films?
Sure.
So like a year ago, I did a Gene Hackman deep dive.
Okay.
The 2 movies, like French Connection, French Connection, like they're the tried and true 70s movies that everybody. There is a movie from the 70s. It's actually world famous, but I just don't think it's famous all these years later. It's called The Conversation.
Okay.
So good. So good. It's so good. I thought about ranking it as the best Gene Hackman movie of all time.
Damn.
Above Hoosiers, above French Connection, above Unforgiven, you name it. So if you're looking for a movie to watch, check out The Conversation. And I got one more, okay?
Okay.
There's a movie that he made called Night Moves. Roger Ebert gave the film 4 stars upon its release and called it one of the best psychological thrillers in a long time. I wrote, he was right. This might be a few spots too low when I did my rankings a year ago.
So just to check, if it's a psychological thriller, I'm guessing the Bob Seger song is not like the main track in the movie. Like that.
Correct.
Might be extra creepy. Tongue
Well, I think not. I think the movie predates Seeger.
Yeah, that's true. That probably is true. Night Moves and The Conversation. Okay. And French Connection is worth watching. Obviously, I haven't seen it. I'm me. French Connection, that's one of like the Hackman classics from way back.
You've not seen French Connection?
I've never seen the French Connection.
Oh, that's the movie that made him.
That's the one. Okay.
He plays Popeye O'Doyle, who's it's a crime movie. Like he's a cop. It's fantastic.
Okay, wait a second. Chris Bennett, Young Frankenstein. Gene Hackman is in Young Frankenstein? How long has it been since I've seen Young Frankenstein?
Too long? I'm not a big Young Frankenstein fan.
Is he in it? Who's Gene? I just don't remember Gene Hackman. I'll take your word, Chris Bennett, if that's what you're telling me. I will take your word for it. All right, let's see. If you want to throw in any Gene Hackman stuff, we can do that. If you have any wishes, we've had
conversation, guys. I'm telling you, it's so good.
Catch, how big a deal is this wish today? Because multiple people have already just sent these words: running back.
I get it. And if the answer is give us that West Virginia running back that averaged 5.7 yards per carry last year, and let him come in with a new running backs coach, I get it. Texas goes into this season without a running back a scholarship running back who averages either in a season or in their career better than 4.9 yards per carry. It's just not good enough. The stockpiling that existed a few years ago when it was Bijan or Roshan and Jonathan Brooks couldn't even get on the field. And oh, by the way, Jaden Blue is so buried on the depth chart that maybe he's going to transfer because he's that buried. And now Blue's gone. Now those other guys are way off into the NFL, and what's left behind just isn't of that ilk. So, yeah, I mean, Christopher didn't get specific with it. He may be aiming even higher than that. Look what Ohio State did at running back last year and how that changed the outlook of their entire season.
Yeah, and that was one of those moves. When it was made, it was kind of like, oh, okay. I remember thinking, well, if they keep Henderson and they add him, okay. In this case, maybe it's not. I mean, Texas probably doesn't have somebody that gives you that Travion Henderson feel right now. But if you can add somebody to that room, that would be a big help. I think the key here, Catch, is, and I agree with you, it feels like it's offensive versus defensive because it just feels like it's stuff on Arch's side of the ball. For whatever that is, it's protection or it's a running game, or like you mentioned, maybe it is there some just badass receiver that you can get him that takes it to another level? I think
about what they did in the portal. It was all defense.
Yeah, right. In the first wave, you're right. So maybe the second wave becomes offensive.
They literally have not done anything in the portal to give like a mini boost to the offense. And again, I think, and it's not that they didn't try. We know that they looked at a receiver. We know they looked at a tight end. You know, they've kicked the tires on high quality, but like, man, this ain't horseshoes. If we get into October next year and it's like Texas is 3-2 and the running game's not good enough, you go, well, hey, they did try to get that running back back. No. That is not an alibi trying. Well, you know, they did go after that kid that signed. No. No. So there are some things they need to do. And the thing is, other than starting quarterback, I won't argue. Nobody has said tight end yet, but look, if you could go back and say, how about that tight end from Stanford that ended up going to, or from Purdue that ended up going to Ohio State? Can I just take him? Yeah. Genie wish is granted, and now Texas has a new starting tight end. Like, there are so many areas where I think a tweak makes this team better.
So you bring up a great point earlier. If I was the Genie, I would need some official like thing at the end to make sure that legally we understand. And I think your idea of either a that or a, you know, you come up with something that makes it official. Genie, it's like Genie, I wish for, and then you got to end it with something. I think that's probably appropriate. Just the legalities of it would be tough. You gotta make sure.
If you break the rule, the Genie gets to stick you in her bottle, and then you're her play toy forever.
Right. Yeah. And then it gets cramped. It gets really cramped.
A lot of dudes already in there, so if you don't know.
There's a lot going on. Absolutely. All right. Before we do anything else,
a sword fight taking place, fellas. So make sure no rules breaking.
All right, Catch, you're wearing the Liverpool shirt today. I don't think I've ever asked, how does Rogue Shop fit into your Liverpool world? Like, is it pregame? Is it during game? Is it post game? How does the Rogue Shop augment your Liverpool fandom?
Oh, it probably chills me the hell out before a big match. I mean, it's probably just as simple as that. There's a million reasons. But if you're specifically asking about Liverpool, I mean, I'm doing my main thing, like no matter what, anyways. So nothing changes. I don't like curb the use of my Rogue Shop. Texas is home for legal CBD, THC, and so much more, and the proud sponsor of the Overreaction Monday show. Yeah, man, it just kind of puts me on a level where I'm neither too high nor too low. I always have to remember I live with my wife. God forbid I make a noise in a game. You know, if I'm watching Liverpool and I'm like, ah, you know, like one of those, like a night will go by. And then out of nowhere, a conversation will be taking place. And then like Heather will indicate to somebody that we're talking to that like I'm just a maniac. It was hooting and hollering and yelling and basically acting completely out of control. So how does Rogue help? I got to remind myself, I am not even allowed the grace of an exclamation or I'm going to be framed as an out-of-control meathead. So thank you, Rogue Shop, for mostly keeping me out of the meathead territory in the eyes of my wife.
That's the best ad. That's the best spot I've ever heard in my life. If that doesn't get you there, nothing will. I mean, nothing's going to get you there. I think a lot of people can kind of relate to that one. There you go. ATX Bates says, I know how Rogue augments my brain. Yeah. Especially Bates when you don't follow the directions properly. Bates has admitted that sometimes he doesn't follow the directions. Please make sure you are following the directions properly. Just like on today's show, we're giving you one wish as a Texas football fan for 2025. And we are saying goodbye to Gene Hackman because that terrible news from I think technically it was last night when he was found, and his wife and the dog. And we'll find out exactly what happened to that crazy story. But if you have any Gene Hackman thoughts, we'll take those as well today. All right. So in terms of this discussion today, you mentioned tight end at some point that nobody had mentioned, and you're right. I'm not seeing that a lot. We've kind of covered, I think, all the main stuff. Back to that offensive line discussion. That's where it is for me. It's got to be blocking or tackling to me, Catch. That's the ultimate discussion. You could go fancy and think about a receiver or whatever, but to me, it's blocking or tackling. And the first thing I thought of was protect Arch, and protect Arch even better than you're going to protect Arch. Yeah. So it's kind of to your comment of if you're going to trust Baker at right tackle, do you go interior? Or to your original point, if you're saying, hey, we'll figure out where Baker can go. Maybe Baker doesn't have to be right tackle. Let's go find the badass, right tackle to help out. I think that's going to be the most important thing. And that's obviously going to help out the run game that we talk about. But to me, it's a blocking issue. If you want to deal with the other, if you want to deal with tackling, that's fine. And you can go interior D line. But Catch, I dig the defensive talent on this team. I feel like I trust it right now more than I trust the protection part of this team.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the whole point of the exercise is to try to figure out where those fine margins can be flipped into your favor, because this is going to be a season where that's the thing.
Yeah.
How do you who has Ohio State, when it was all said and done, won the battle of fine margins this year in the battle for a national championship? Texas has to be able to do the exact same thing this season. It's easier said than done, especially when you do have some personnel question marks that I don't know that Ohio State completely had a year ago. These aren't the same set of question marks that Texas had a year ago. So, everything changes every year. There's a different vibe and a different feel, but Texas is so close. It will be a tiny thing that either goes for them or against them that either makes this a season to remember or one that is ultimately remembered for regret.
Cats, there's a lot of Longhorn fans, I think, that would agree with Chris Bennett after some recent events. I wish for Kay Adams. Chris Bennett, that's not exactly what we're doing today, but sure.
Chris just got put into the Genie bottle.
I have heard from a lot of Texas fans since that interview came out with Sark, and a lot of Texas fans kind of fell in love with Kay Adams. You're going to get put in the bottle though for messing up with the wishes. That's not how it works.
You know what? Maybe that's what Chris Bennett was going for.
Maybe that's what he wanted.
Give me some Kay Adams, and then in getting Kay Adams, he gets some Barbara Eden.
That's it. He wants to get trapped. By the way, we're getting the details here. Gene Hackman is the blind man in Young Frankenstein, played the part for free, just wanted to work with Mel Brooks. Thank you, Adam. It's been a while since I've watched Young Frankenstein all the way through. Apparently it was a small part, but Gene Hackman was in Young Frankenstein.
Confession.
How about that?
Never seen Young Frankenstein.
Is that right? Now, earlier you just said you weren't a Young Frankenstein guy, but you haven't even seen it.
Correct.
Okay. And are you a Gene Wilder fan? Remind me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's
just wasn't into that.
Yeah, you get Gene Wilder, you get a great Terry Garr. I'm not a horror movie guy, but if you do it right and you're making fun of horror movies, that is one of my favorite Mel Brooks movies. I've not sat through it in a while, but it's got some great stuff in it. Those two interacting are great, and there's some other really good performances in that movie. That's a solid one. I just didn't realize Gene Hackman was in that movie. I had to look up the one I couldn't think of the name of it, Catch, but there's a movie from the 80s that I always loved. I haven't seen it in forever, but No Way Out with Gene and Kevin Costner.
Great movie.
God, I dig that movie. I remember watching that thing. I probably watched it like 5 or 6 times when it hit HBO the first time, and then I haven't seen it since.
I saw it in the theater when I was in middle school. So this would have been 88, I think.
Mm-hmm.
There was a dollar movie theater over off of Anderson Mill in like 183, like right across the street from Westwood High School. And so I'd go see like 6 or 7 movies a week. I saw No Way Out in the theater for $1.
Good for you.
By myself in the summer. Just the exact kind of movie that forms and shapes the minds of young men. Because if you'll remember that movie, there's some interesting Sean Young stuff going on in there.
I was going to say the Sean Young parts of that movie just by itself. Yeah, educational.
But I watched it again last year.
Okay, I need to rewatch, man. I haven't
still
seen
a banger.
It still holds up?
Still holds up. Still a banger. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I was worried because I watched, I was watching a whole week of Gene Hackman movies, and I was like, man, I haven't seen No Way Out in a long time. And I had seen a bunch of like The Conversation and some of these other movies that I mentioned. I was like, okay, let's do No Way Out. God, I hope it holds up. And it did. I was so happy.
I gotta check that one out. Some other people are throwing in some good ideas. We'll get to those in the chat. Also, let's thank some of our great partners, and let's get a little AV consultations. We're talking about movies and Gene Hackman, right? If you don't have the right screen to watch all those great movies, Get it done. Don't let mom and dad out TV you. AV Consultations can help.
Hi, this is Tom McKay, owner of Audiovisual Consultations. We've been providing custom electronic systems for Central Texas for more than 36 years. And
Old man, I think they all know who you are and what your company does. This is Camilla McKay. The old man believes in big fun and big ideas. He can make dreams come true, so why not dream big? I've been up in Boston, but I know the old man and all his friends and fellow radio heads have been spreading the holiday spirit here in Texas. Why should we stop there? Keep spreading the good feelings all over. Audiovisual Consultations carries all major brands of televisions and stereo equipment at prices you can't find in stores. And you don't have to leave your house. Just like Santa, they deliver the gifts to you.
yeah, I like that, kid. Throw a party, hang out with your friends, catch a concert.
That's all fun and good, but can we get back to the business? You can give us a call at 512-255-8678 or visit our website at avconsultations.com for some cool electronics.
Oh, now you're forgetting something.
And as always, hug your kids. We only pretend to be annoyed. Watch some games with
Yeah, to your point, Catch, the kids are not pretending most of the time. They are annoyed for the most part. And you're right. We will get I wrote old man edit. We will definitely get the old man edit going on at some point. That will be fantastic. All right, let's see. Oh, this is always good to know. Always good to know. Chad, people are putting you through the ringer this morning with Anwar, LMAO. You know what? There you go.
What'd you do?
Yeah. By the way, let's not read that name. Good grief.
What'd you do?
I don't know. I have no idea. Let me know specifically what it was that I was getting pulled through the ringer. But, I don't know. Maybe Anwar went off on a rant on me. I'm not sure. But let me know. Let me know what it is. Because I want to make sure if I'm going to be, affecting all the shows at once. I want to know how I'm doing it. All right. Let's see. Trying to grab some chats here. What was the one I liked? Oh, here's one. I know a lot of people dig this movie. Gene and Denzel, Crimson Tide, cinema gold, according to ATX Bates. I know some people. I've come in contact with people that the only thing they don't like about that movie might be some of the technicalities of the movie in terms of would that really happen in real life and could that really? But the two performances are pretty damn good.
Not because he's a racist.
What's that?
So they weren't upset not because he was a racist.
No, I don't think that's what it was. Are you?
I do have one friend who won't watch this movie because the Hackman character crosses into racism when he didn't feel like it needed to.
Oh, interesting.
He's like, the movie works perfectly fine.
Okay.
Without because Hackman tells that it gets dark from a racism standpoint.
Yeah.
The horse thing and and at the end where they're talking about what the colors of the horses are in Spain or whatever it is.
Right.
But there's some pretty dark, dude, couldn't you just have kept the racism inside?
Yeah. I know people that get mad. I know some people that have naval backgrounds, and their problem with it is about the formatics of the movie, where it's okay, that just wouldn't happen. There's some people that they'll just throw it away.
I don't care. I don't want to hear any of that. It's a popcorn movie. I like it.
I do too. Yeah. Crimson Tide is one I remember seeing in the theater and just locked in on the whole thing. Gene Hackman was fantastic.
I'm just saying, they could have let Gene cook and not lean into this guy. We got to make people root against this guy. What's the best way to do it? What if we have him just say some irreprehensible racist shit? There you go. Now, Tarantino is brought in as a writer on that. So.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I never knew Tarantino was involved in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
They brought him in to write a couple of, add to a couple of scenes.
That really does explain a lot. I didn't know that.
So,
yeah,
it very well could be that particular touch was a Tarantino nuance.
Little QT.
At which point, all you can do is touche.
Little flavor of QT. All right, put a little QT in there. All right, Catch. Anything else on the kind of wish list idea we threw out? There's a couple other notes we could hit in terms of football, but is there anything else you wanted to mention kind of on this topic today?
No, man, I'm good. I hate to say it because I'm running out of steam a little bit. I just is not this thing all week long has just been oh, I just did a Google search, okay?
Mm-hmm.
What did Quentin Tarantino have to do with Crimson Tide? Quentin Tarantino is an uncredited writer on Crimson Tide. He and Washington got into it over Tarantino's dialogue between Hackman's character and Washington's character. The racist lines over the color of the Lippinzonner stallion.
Ding, ding. The issues people have had for years, they were QT issues. It was all about Tarantino. Who knew? Who
And
knew?
Hackman was coming from my place, which is, we got a good movie. This thing's gonna work. Like, why do you got to make me be irreprehensible?
That's interesting too. Now I'm not going to be able to hear those scenes without thinking of that. I've never really gone down that road. I never thought it was too far. I never thought it was too much. I'd have to rewatch it and kind of, let it sink in again. I never had that feeling in the movie, but that's really interesting. All right, Quentin Tarantino, a part of Crimson Tide. All right, so catch a couple of notes from there's some notes we could get to from CDC and his little town hall. I think we can do that. We'll also buy or sell. You want to buy or sell right now? What do you think?
Let's buy or sell.
Okay, let's do exasperate. That was like a movie performance from you. Yes, let's buy or sell. All right, let's do it. You want to go first or second?
That's not what I was going for. That was very organic. I'm just, I'm telling you, what the thing that I have a hard time faking is like when I hit the wall.
I love that you made it singular. The thing that you have a tough time faking. There's only one. It's just the one. All right, you want to go first or second?
I'll go second.
All righty. So, speaking of CDC, buy or sell number one, UT will have a fan day on 4/26. You think the line for Arch pictures and autographs will make it to ESPN in some fashion?
Oh, bye. I mean, yeah. They're going to have to get their Arch content somehow. So, yes, that's they may actually live stream that. So,
oh my God.
It'll be the first autograph signing experience that ESPN chooses to air.
Yeah. I think they'll do it. If they do it the right way, put him at the end of the table, make everybody walk all the way through. You got to get all the autographs. Can't just have Arch, but that's going to take forever. That line will be extended around the stadium. It'll be fantastic. Be on the lookout for that. But Fan Day, April 26th. So something in the spring. They'll give you a little taste of Bevo Boulevard and all that good stuff. More details are coming on that. Free admission, fans. Free admission. All right, catch buy or sell number two. Best case scenario for Texas men's basketball. Win 2 out of 3. Get a win in the SEC tournament and get into a play-in game.
Sell, that's not the best case.
Okay.
Best case doesn't have them playing in a play-in game. Jesus Christ.
Well, it's them. After these last 2 games, I'm not sure if I can give them much more.
Well, what they beat a big dog.
Yeah. Last night they went from last 4 safely in, last 4 bye, and last, probably slid to that last group in. I think that's where Lenardi has them as of this morning.
It's the thing is, look,
and they're clinging
last
right
3
now.
games, they get a road game next week at Mississippi State. And they get Oklahoma in the season.
Yeah.
If they win both of those games, which would be winning 2 out of 3, but I'm really talking about a 3 out of 3 close. If they can find a way to go on the road and beat Mississippi State, they're not in a play-in game. But with 3 games to go, I mean, Georgia's a must-win. And then their problem is I'm worried about the Oklahoma game to end the season. Texas has owned Oklahoma for so long that the last time they played it almost felt like it was just taking it for granted. It was like, well, of course Texas went into Norman and won that game. Texas beats Oklahoma in basketball. They'll play. They got 2 games next week where they're at Mississippi State and then at home against Oklahoma. They need to win both of those games. They need to at least win one of those games. I think if they lose both Mississippi State and Oklahoma next week, I think they're going to miss the tournament.
Yeah, I think you're right. One of my favorite Randy Travis songs has a line about it's like clinging to the bottom of the bottom when the bottom drops out. That's what I keep thinking about with this basketball team, man. They are clinging, scratching, and clawing. I don't know if they get.
Can I say something really controversial?
Sure.
I watched last night's game and wish Trey Johnson had signed someplace else.
Oh, man.
Like, I just feel like that guy on the right team could help someone win a national championship.
Yeah.
And instead, Texas he's arguably the best player they've had since Kevin Durant. And like, he's out here throwing up 30-point burgers against good teams. And it's just, when it's all said and done, for who, for what? Like, I like seeing great players play for great things. I find myself frustrated for Trey Johnson. Look, if Trey Johnson walks away from this and says, I wouldn't trade my experience for anything, that I loved being in Austin, I love the people of Austin, I met my future wife in Austin, like, I want to live in Austin. Like, okay, I retract. But anything short of that, kind of just what I would like to see that guy in March playing massive games, because everything about what he's shown us is that if he could get to March, get to the round of the Sweet 16, Elite 8, that guy's got some monster Carmelo Anthony level 30-point bombs in tournament games just waiting to be distributed. And we're talking about playing games in the NIT, and it's the biggest indictment on Rodney Terry. You've got a truly special player, and right now you're doing dick with it.
Catch, when I watched the game last night, I thought about Gerard Hurd against Cal when he had that performance and broke some kind of record. There was some Texas record he broke in that game. Didn't matter at all because they wasted it. And last night, they wasted the best freshman performance in the history of Texas basketball, period. More than Durant, more than anybody you could think of. 39. And they wasted it. Like, that's just, that's more than a punch to the gut.
No, because look, if you tell Rodney Terry before the season starts, if it's like you're wishing in a mirror, you're talking to the magic mirror or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's like, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest freshman of them all? Goddamn, Rodney, it's your guy. You have no idea. That man's going to be 30 here and 30 there and 30 here, and he's going to lead the SEC in scoring, and he's going to be one of the great SEC freshmen of all time. Rodney will look into the mirror and go, goddamn, mirror, thank you. That makes me feel much better. Rodney Terry would have assumed that he and the other parts that he built inside this program would have this thing in places that it's not right now. If only that true freshman could live up and be exactly the guy we have our fingers crossed that he can. He's better than that. Yep. He's better than they have any rightful hope of hoping for. And this is just a waste, man. And I hate to say it out loud. Look, I'm watching every Texas. I'm a Texas basketball fan. But I have a heart. I'm human.
Yeah.
And I hate to see exceptional people wasted because they chose to keep company with non-exceptional people.
It was tough to watch last night. Texas and Georgia, Saturday at 7. If you want to hit the Moody Center, buy or sell.
Rodney, those free throws that you give up on a technical foul, they end up mattering a lot in a one possession game.
Buy or sell number 3, Catch. The NFL will use a virtual measuring system for first downs. You're all for it.
Buy. Just get it right.
Yep.
Get it right. Make it easy. Ever since I've seen what tennis has been able to do in technology and how they are able to not only make it pretty dope, like the fans get into it, there's clapping, there's like an anticipation of where's the ball going to be? Like, tennis is the only sport in the world that has turned the instant replay process into one of the more interesting parts of the game. And that they can do that gives me hope.
Yeah.
It gives me hope with technology.
I agree.
That we're going to keep tweaking it, and we're going to, the one good thing about in sports with all this improved technology, we're not going to have the links and the chains get tied in a knot. We're not going to have to do that thing where sometimes I question the officials and how they maneuver the chains.
Yeah.
It's not exactly a science.
No, and it's good. And on this last famous play that changed it, Buffalo, Kansas City, when you see those two guys running in and they're not on the same yard line, you think to yourself, oh, good Lord, here we go. And they did it in the UFL last spring. I applaud the NFL, Catch, for peeking into these spring leagues and stealing some ideas they like. They stole the kickoff idea, and now they're stealing this one. By the way, the kickoff in 2025, they could move the touchback out to the 35-yard line, putting even more pressure on the kickers to put it in that spot. Imagine that for a second. 35 on a touchback?
You're not kicking it out of the back of the end zone anymore.
No, you're trying to get those kickers to play your game even more. Keep an eye peeled for that, and then they got to decide on tush push coming up at some point in the spring too. All right, Catch, birthday time. Buy or sell number 4, Neil Sean of Journey is 71 today. You think they waited too long to ever tour with Steve Perry again?
Well, buy. But, rock and roll bands are their own entity, and I don't know who the hell it is for me to stand on top of my little white picket fence house on top of the hill and send judgment down on Neil.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they probably waited too long. But man, there's just hard feelings and like stuff that goes on in bands is just, look, you know what? Sometimes like the Orange Blood stuff is like a band. I got people that I haven't forgiven in almost 20 years that if I could and it was against the law or not against the law, like I might still beat them over the head with a mallet. So, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. Journey still putting on a hell of a show. Happy birthday to Neil Sean. And finally, Kat, since we used her on the thumbnail, Barbara Eden as Genie, hotter than Elizabeth Montgomery in Bewitched.
Oh, it's close. I'm going to go buy hotter. She's not as pretty as Elizabeth Montgomery,
right?
But hot? Oh man, yeah, she got it. She can get it. She got it. She's everything.
The outfit figures in, how much of the body you're seeing, I guess, figures in. So there is a great sexiness to Elizabeth Montgomery because of how much like more aware she is than Genie. Like Genie's ditzy. That's the way the character's written. But the Bewitched characters kind of got this dark sexiness to it that's on the other side. It's a good battle. It's an all-time battle for you young kids.
Elizabeth Montgomery's the smartest person in the world in Bewitched.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then she tolerates everybody.
You kids, go look that one up. It's a hell of a battle, and love those shows from back in the day. All right, Cats, that's what I got. What do you got?
Buy or sell number 1. Are you ready to be all in on the NBA playoffs, or are you more likely to eject?
That was an either or. What's the buy or sell?
I don't know. Answer it however you want to. I clearly fucked that up.
I'll sell that. I'm ready to jump right in on the playoffs right now. I'll get that way in a little bit. And I'll be honest with you, it'll be just wherever the Lakers end up and wherever the Mavericks end up, it's going to affect how I feel about it, but I'm going to try, just not right now. I'm still processing.
Buy or sell number 2, Hoosiers, greatest sports movie of all time and Hackman's finest work.
Quite a definitive statement.
I did rank it as his number 1 all-time film when I did my rankings last year.
I think your second part is right, but is that the greatest sports movie? That's every sport, any sport.
Well, it's in the conversation.
It's any movie that's ever been made about any sport, any Olympic sport, and Chariots of Fire, and any soccer movie.
Chariots of Fire.
Any movie. I'm just working through this. I'm not bringing feelings to it. I'm just trying to work through. I'll say bye.
I believe Jimmy Chitwood had a birthday this week as well.
Is that right? Very cool.
Yeah, because we're Facebook friends.
Very nice. Very nice. That's a good name drop. Well done. Yeah, I'll buy that. I'll buy it, especially since you're Facebook friends with Jimmy Chitwood. It is a great movie, and it continues to stand up, I would argue, over the test of time. So, yeah, I'll buy that. And rest in peace to Gene Hackman.
I enjoyed, we're not such close friends that he probably remembers that we're Facebook friends. I wonder, is Jimmy Chitwood on Facebook? And then every once in a while, I'm on his feed and he remembers why we're Facebook friends. But we are Facebook friends. And he did have a birthday, if I'm not mistaken, recently.
Beautiful. Happy birthday, Chitwood. And if he doesn't show up to the party, I'm not going.
I'm glad that I was able to sway your vote with a little.
Yeah, no, again, like you thought I was. It's not. I couldn't think of a sports movie that I'm absolutely ready to stand on the line for over Hoosiers. I was just working my way through big time sports movies, and at this moment, I can't think of one better than Hoosiers.
All right, buy or sell number 3. When Zach Martin goes into the NFL Hall of Fame, you'll celebrate.
Yeah, buy, because then those kind of things I can always disconnect and play the he's my guy card, even though we all know what it wasn't and what it did. Yes, there's a celebration there. He wore that damn hat. He was on my team. I'll celebrate it. Yes, buy. It's a lowercase buy, but it's a buy. I can't watch a dude in a gold jacket and just be pissy at Jerry. I try to separate those two things.
Yeah, no.
I didn't say I'd go to Canton, but I'll be happy.
That wasn't the question. I just, it's just.
Yeah, I'll be happy for him. Yes. I will celebrate it for what it is.
Buy or sell number 4. You would rather see in their prime on prime, Depeche Mode in concert over the Clash.
That's a good one. I'm going to sell and go with the Clash. I would like to see a prime, whatever somebody would tell me the prime of the Clash was. Yeah. Depeche Mode would be interesting. But with the Clash, I know stuff's going to break. I know people might bleed. And as long as it's not me, I kind of want to see it. I'm going to sell. I'll take the Clash. It's close, though. It's close. Depeche Mode's a band I don't know enough about, but I respect what they were. I wasn't into them back then. I'd love to go back and kind of go through it, but I'll go with the Clash. What would you do?
I'm going to go see the Clash because there's a good chance Joe Ely's going to be hanging around.
Oh, I hadn't even thought of that. Good call. There's a chance that Ely joins them on stage for some weird cover. Yeah.
If it's in the States.
Right.
Joe, and there's something. I want to go see that hell raising. By the way, I went to Jimmy Chitwood's Facebook page. His real name is Maris Valanis.
Okay.
And I had him on my show way back in the day when I did the national Yahoo Sports Radio show. Awesome guy. Somebody posted on his Facebook page they just tagged him. It's a picture of Hackman from Hoosiers, and it says "Run the picket fence in heaven."
Wow.
So people are laughing because that person tagged Jimmy Chitwood.
Man, you just can't get away from it, can you?
Oh, anyway. And finally, buy or sell number 5. Of all of the women's Texas athletes that you've ever covered that aren't in the Texas Hall of Honor,
okay,
there's one that sticks out in your mind that you wish you could put in.
I don't have the list in front of me, but is Jamie Carey in?
I don't believe so.
Then buy Jamie Carey.
Fair enough.
That's the one that just popped in my head. I got to cover some really cool ones, but that's whose face popped in my head as you were talking. So if she's not in, I'd make an argument to put her in. She's one of my favorite athletes, people that I ever got to cover.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Love me some Jamie
Glad
Carey.
I asked that question.
Yeah. Shout out to Jamie Carey, whatever she is doing today. Love her. All right. There was a super chat that came in from our guy Barb's10, a $10 super chat. Sorry, I'm late. If there ever was a game that warranted pulling a Scully, it was last night. Kaluma and Mark point shaving question. Oh, easy Barb's10. I don't think we need to go that far. Texas basketball had such a night. Barb's10's asking about point shaving. I don't know if that was warranted. Okay. Before we hit the exit button, let's do a couple more things. Thank a couple more of our great partners.
That Jamie Carey is still at Texas, or was it Texas? What is she doing now?
I know at one point she was. Yeah, I know at one point she was doing
assistant coach. She's not there now, but she was. I guess she's at North Texas now.
Yeah. She was at North Texas with Aston. Do I have that right?
No, I'm just trying to find what she's doing right now, and everything's old. Maybe she's not coaching anywhere.
Yeah, she might not be. I'm not sure exactly what Jamie is doing right now. All right, let me give a little love to Taste on Main. You've heard me talk about Hay City Store recently, and these are the same folks. It's Travis, it's Tamara, and this is their steakhouse in downtown Buda. And man, it's a great environment. No, don't worry about dress codes. No stuffy dress code. Come as you are. Be casual and just have a badass steak. Have an incredible drink if you want. I'll recommend the Sam Elliott's mustache because it's damn good. They've even got a picture of Sam Elliott on the wall right there near one of the bars. There's an outdoor treehouse bar area. The way the weather is right now, man, what a time to get to Taste on Main. Make sure you get your reservation. Make sure to ask about Oscar style for that steak. It's where I first asked and found out what the hell it was. It's fantastic. It's one of my favorite things now. Go check them out right there on Main Street in Buda. And yes, if you're like me, and you are a Brussels sprout snob, it's the best Brussels sprouts I've ever had in my life. I wouldn't mention them if they weren't that good. Go have them at Taste on Main. Thanks to them and all of our great partners. Catch, there were a couple other quick notes from this CDC thing.
I got to go, man. We've hit the point in the show where I do have to go.
All right. A jet cord to be hit. All right. Well, then in that case, we'll just hear from Specs real quick, and then we will get out of here. They got a wine sale going on out at Specs. It goes till March 1st. Here you go.
Ooh la la, what a fabulous selection. I think I found my perfect pairing. You and Specs low prices.
Specs huge wine sale going on now.
There you go. CDC, I tried. Thank you all for liking, subscribing, and getting your notifications. Football with Friends tonight at 6, another Combine edition. And this afternoon, remember, Combine cranks up with the D linemen. What is it? D linemen and linebackers, right? 2 o'clock, NFL Network, running the 40s, all the workouts, all that stuff. That starts today. The guys will have a full recap of what happens at 6 this evening. Anwar is old-fashioned for you at 9 tomorrow morning. Y'all take care. We'll talk to you tomorrow at noon for another House Divided. Make sure to join OB. Click that new QR code down there that we made for you. JoinOrangeBloods.com right now. See you.